Hello everyone, Father Bob Gross here. It is December 31st, 2017, the last day of the year. And today we celebrate the feast of the Holy Family of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. The Sunday between New Year's Day and Christmas is always the feast of the Holy Family. So today I just want to offer the homily, the thoughts that I gave. And then tomorrow is New Year's Day. So tonight we have Mass again. So if you're in our four parishes, we're having Mass at 4:30. And then we're having Eucharistic adoration from 5:30 to 9 p.m. tonight. And then tomorrow we have Mass at 9 a.m. So if you're looking for some options for Mass. So here are my thoughts for the homily of Holy Family. Christmas is dangerous. Let me say that one more time. Christmas is dangerous. You know, when we think of Christmas, I think one song that captures Christmas in the best sense is Silent Night. And when you look at the verses of that song, it's trying to capture the moment that Jesus was born, the moment he came into the world, the moment that Mary held him, the moment that he was placed in the manger, that moment of peace and happiness and joy that God has come to his people. But when you look outside of that moment, before and after, we see that Christmas is dangerous. Let's kind of recount that. Why did Joseph and Mary have to go to Bethlehem? Well, it was because of the coercive act of the Roman governor, the Roman emperor, Caesar Augustus, who wanted to count everyone so he could tax people more and get more bodies for the Roman army. That'd make us a fan of him, huh? Right? So Mary and Joseph went to Bethlehem because of the edict of an emperor. But then what happened when they got to Bethlehem? No room for them. Nowhere for them, and Mary had to give birth to her child. That's a difficulty. And then in that smelly, damp cave that was a stable, Jesus was born and placed in a manger, a feeding trough. Probably not the cleanest thing in the world. Then what happened? They had to flee to Egypt. The moment that Jesus is born is the moment they had to get out of Dodge. And they went to Egypt. And imagine Joseph and Mary discussing it. Joseph had never been to Egypt. How did he get to Egypt? And Mary says, "Do you know how to get to Egypt?" And Joseph's like, "I don't know." But they left for 3 years to save Jesus, because Herod was jealous. And guess what Herod did in retribution to the newborn king? He sent his soldiers to Bethlehem and killed every single boy that was 2 years or younger. Horrific, awful, a massacre of children. It's kind of intense. Then after that, they go to the temple, which was the gospel today, and Simeon promises Mary that a sword will pierce her heart because her son will be rejected. He will be a sign of contradiction. Then lastly, when he's 12 years old, they lose Jesus. How does Mary and Joseph lose Jesus, but they find him in the temple? When you look at the events before and the events immediately after, you see that Christmas is dangerous. And therein lie the reason why the Holy Family is holy. It's not because of them being perfect. It's because of their fidelity in the midst of struggles and difficulties and sufferings and danger that makes them the Holy Family. Yeah, Mary was immaculately conceived, correct. Joseph was the chaste spouse of Mary. Jesus is the Son of God. But it's because of what they endured and what they experienced and how they remained faithful that makes them the Holy Family. And there are two ways that that happens today. The first is this: Mary and Joseph knew that they had every grace that they need in order to fulfill their mission. They knew that God had given them the grace, the gifts, the strengths, the virtues in order to remain faithful to God. And the same is with us. Every couple that approaches the sacrament of marriage and receives the sacrament has every grace that they need in order to be a faithful couple, no matter what. no matter what comes down the road, if they believe in what God has given them, receive what God has given them, hope in what God has given them, love what God has given them. Same is true of the priest. When he's ordained, he's given everything that he needs, and it's a life of unpacking the good that God has given him as a priest. Or if it's for a Christian who is baptized, everything he needs to be a faithful Christian for the rest of his life is given to him the day that he is baptized as a little baby. We forget that sometimes. Everything you need to be faithful, to be heroic, to be sacrificial, to be loving, to be faithful to God is given to you when you receive the graces of the states of your life. That's what Mary and Joseph did. That's what makes them holy. The second point that I think that the Holy Family does is that they believe that good can come from suffering. They believe that good can come from suffering. The moment that Jesus entered into the world, they were in danger. And God brought good out of all the danger that they were in. When Herod wanted to destroy Jesus, God saved them. When they lost Jesus, they found him. And when they experienced opposition, God was with them. God brought good out of it. And that's the second reason why the Holy Family is holy. They were not immune from suffering and difficulty and disappointment and the effects of sin, but they saw a greater good that can come out of it. And that helps us as families, because there are times when things don't go the way that we want them to. A divorce happens in the family. A son or a daughter wanders away from the faith. Addiction comes into a home. A marriage unfolds not the way that you thought it would. An illness to a child or to a spouse. Those are things that we are not preparing for, but they all come. Trials will come to families no matter what. But to imitate the Holy Family is to see that God can bring good out of it. Remember, the manger was made out of wood. That's to remind us later that Jesus will be on a cross. You know, we have those beautiful poinsettias around the altar. They're beautiful flowers, but they're red for a reason. They remind us of the blood of Christ that saves us. So from the very beginning, Jesus was opposed. And from the very beginning, God brought good out of it. The same is with us. We will have trials. There will be the effects of our sinfulness on our lives. There will be disappointments and curveballs. But God promises that he can bring good out of it if we A, remain faithful, and B, stay close to him. That's what's happened to families. They've lost the fact of those two key things. That God can bring good out of evil, and that you are given everything that you need in order to be faithful. It's up to you, but ultimately, it's not up to you. God has to do it in you. So today, let's pray for our families. There needs to be a renewal of family life. The family is being attacked aggressively by the evil one. And we need to go back to what it means to be family. Father and mother, committed in marriage, children, the fruit of that, and the extended family that is rooted in the faith of Jesus Christ. That is the family that we belong to. And ultimately a family that is then joined to the greater family of the church, so that if our family has lost its way, is broken and divided, we can come to the family that we will never be rejected from, and that is the family of the church. Even though our parents may be dysfunctional or wounded, we have a perfect Father in heaven who loves us unconditionally. So I hope you take those thoughts to your prayer as you pray for your family tonight. And may God bless you. And Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Don't take the stable down or the tree down till January 8th. Bask in the joy of Jesus being among us, in the humility of a baby. May God bless you.